Continuamos con el verbo to be. Hoy veremos el tiempo pasado con pronombres, adjetivos, artículos, adverbios y demás. Lo vas a procesar en tu mente de una manera fácil y automática. Comencemos.
To eat, pray, love. And you know what happened with that? To do all the time when I was an equally disoriented failure.
Little known fact about me, when I was an undergraduate, I studied.
It happened with me. When I was an early teenager, I was obsessed with Hillary Duff.
When I was an undergraduate, I had the opportunity to take ungraded courses at Williams and what
I taught myself Fortran when I was an undergrad. And
the last guest speaker I brought in to talk to my team when I was an executive at Yahoo.
Journey, that's what opened my mind to philosophy when I was an undergraduate.
The truth, I mean, when I was an administrator for a while.
Years later when I was an undergraduate and I knew.
So
that's what opened my mind to philosophy when I was an undergraduate.
But I think it was later in life when I was an adult.
Business when I was an undergrad, they know what's going on.
Maybe I grew up with when I, was an angry punk, straight edge kid.
When I was an entrepreneur, I was presented with an investment opportunity.
Campus. When I was an undergraduate there, my biggest worry was flunking a midterm.
Time, when I was an undergrad.
Then when I was an early teen, I finally began to get what it was they were telling me.
When I was an adolescent, I got a summer job working on a farm. Okay.
Well, when I was an associate, no one had to tell me to take notes.
And when I was an adolescent, I thought,
cards, bless her heart. And when I was an adult, gave me the report cards, and by then I had
of them. It was to me when I was an undergraduate.
Because most of my clients, when I was an honor, had
to be able to do that, hopefully. And I skipped a lot of classes when I was an undergrad at Northwestern University.
When I was an undergraduate at Amherst College.
My first trip to China in the early 1980s when I was an advanced man.
When I was an undergraduate at UC Berkeley.
How did I come to this? So when I was an undergraduate, at a certain point, I
dream of, when I was an activist in the 80s, 98.
Often was my shoes when I was an undergrad at MIT looking forward. So I'm
very similar to when I was an athlete.
Or 50 years ago, when I was an undergraduate at Stanford.
I had a couple of friends there, the 50s and 60s when I was an interpreter, and then from psychology.
Things I'm hearing about have been around forever, even when I was an undergraduate and graduate.
Recall 50 years ago when I was an undergraduate reading a book that characterized